Hey guys, welcome to Tabletop Warbands. In today's video we play a game of Kill Team, trying out the new Intercession Squad list of the Space Marines against the Death Guard. I'm Simone and I'll play the Ultramarines.
Hi, I'm Andrea and I will play the Death Guard. Before we started, if you are subscribed to the channel, welcome back. If you're not subscribed yet and want to help us, join our growing community now by clicking on the subscribe button. And don't forget to activate the bell so you don't miss the next battle reports. Thank you guys.
Today's mission is Domination. The two kill teams will have to deploy within these two areas. There are 5 objectives and they are arranged in this way. Both Space Marines and Death Guard will have to perform the action claim ground on the objectives to control them.
At the end of each turn, kill teams gain 1 victory point for controlling the 2 objectives in their drop zone, 1 point for controlling more objectives than the opponent, and 1 more point for each objective controlling the enemy deployment zone. The player with the most victory points at the end is the winner. The game will last 4 turns. Both armies start with 2 command points, earning 1 point at the start of each round.
The Ultramarines have received reports of a possible attack on a fort along the Imperial defensive line by the Death Guard. A team of Space Marines is preparing to defend the building to try to maintain control and prevent the enemies of the Emperor from entering the region. The Intercession Squad is made up of 6 Marines. The leader is an Assault Intercessor Sergeant armed with Plasma Pistol and Chainsword. The explosive specialist is the Grenadier, who has Krak and Frag grenades with him. The gunner is an Intercessor Marine and is armed with auxiliary grenade launcher and a Stalker bolt rifle. Finally, there are 3 Assault Intercessor warriors. The chapter tactics skills I have chosen for them are durable and rapid. This means my Marines have an additional triangle of movement and take 1 less wound from critical hits. Finally, as equipment, I assigned a tilting shield to an Assault Intercessor warrior, an Auspex to another warrior, and a Purity Seal to the leader.
A Death Guard kill team was sent by Nargol himself to spread diseases in the Imperial territory, but as always, there are a few Space Marines to take care of before entering the region. Come on guys, help them understand the terrible mistake they made by standing in your way. Thanks to the recent balance update, I can play an additional Marine in the list. The kill team is formed by 2 Plague Marines fire teams. The first team consists of a Plague Marine champion, my leader, equipped with Plasma Pistol and Power Fist, a Plague Marine gunner with his trusty Plasma Gun, and a Plague Marine warrior. The second fire team consists of a Plague Marine heavy gunner armed with a Blade Launcher, a Plague Marine Icon Bearer, and a Plague Marine warrior. As additional equipment, I gave Mephitic Toxin to every operative but the champion for a total of 10 equipment points.
Being the defender, I deployed the entire kill team first. I have positioned the barriers to give the Marines enough cover to advance undisturbed. The leader is positioned above the objective, ready to take control of it, and the gunner is at his side, waiting for some target to shoot at. On the left side, I've deployed the Grenadier on the other objective, while 2 warriors are positioned in the center behind the barrier. I have deployed all operatives except the gunner with the Conceal Order. My Marines have pistols with the 6-inch range. I prefer to use the cover to get in charge range for the next turn.
I placed 1 barrier to cover the objective 2 and the other one to block the passage between the bunker and the rock. Then I deployed my operatives at the drop zone limit with Engage Order. Since Simone has almost every model with Conceal Order, I can use the first turning point to secure the objective on the bunker. I also deployed the Plasma Gun on objective 2 and the Blade Launcher on objective 1, both with Engage Order, ready to do the action claim ground and shoot any Space Marine with no cover.
It's time to do the scouting phase. Each of us chooses a number of dice equal to the corresponding number of the choice, 1 for Fortify, 2 for Infiltrate and 3 for Recon, blue dice for the Space Marines and green dice for the Death Guard. We both chose Recon, so the initiative goes to Andrea, who is the attacker. Lucius uses the dash of the scouting phase to approach the bunker.
Eddie also uses his dash to approach the bunker. Since my operatives will most likely just walk, I don't use any strategic ploy and I don't reveal any tacope.
I don't expect a busy first turn given the arrangement of the scenery, so I don't use any strategic ploy. Also, I don't have any tacope to reveal, so we can start with the firefight phase.
The first operative to activate is Eddie, and with movement and dash, he climbs the bunker and reaches the objective. Then, with his last action, he does the mission action claim ground.
Mirko has the Conceal Order, so he can't fire or charge. For the moment, our friend moves under the bunker.
Olaf uses movement and dash to position in a way that allows him to have a clear line of sight on a Space Marine. Since the Marine near the wall has a Conceal Order, he can't offer cover to the guy behind him. So Olaf takes his bolt gun and shoots him 4 shots at 3+. Hit in 2.
3 dice at 3+ to defend. I'd rather not take any wounds right away, so I use a command point to reroll a dice. Perfect, he's fine. Ronald silently uses movement and dash and goes to position himself behind the rock, ready to advance towards the opponent's objectives.
Willy does the action clean ground on the objective, and then, with movement and dash, he climbs on the container to have better view of the battlefield.
Anya is right above the objective, so he performs the action clean ground. Satisfied with his work, he decides to move next to the barrier, in a good position.
The icon bearer uses movement and dash to reach the bunker.
Lokin, the Grenadier, also performs the action clean ground on the objective, ensuring control of the area.
Just like George, Delia uses movement and dash to reach the bunker.
Nur, the gunner, uses a dash to get to a position with a good view on his target, then loads a Krak grenade into the auxiliary grenade launcher and fires on Inargol's minion above the bunker. 4 shots at 3+. 2 hit.
-1 penetration, so saving with 2 dice at 3+. Both saved.
Intercessors have the ability that allows them to fire twice in an activation if they use a bolt weapon at least once, so Nur takes up the Stalker bolt rifle and fires at the Plague Marine again, 4 shots at 3+. Better, 3 hit.
-1 penetration again, so 2 dice at 3+. 2 normal hits saved. The critical does 4 damage, so rolling 4 dice thanks to the death card's ability Disgustingly Resilient. For every 5+, a wound is ignored. 2 wounds saved, good! 10 wounds left for Eddie. Murphy activates, and being on top of the objective, he does the mission action clean ground.
Lucius, with movement and dash, positions himself above the bunker and next to the objective, hoping to have the initiative in the next round and act first.
Well, this round was fast. Nothing happened, so I don't have much to say. Since I control the 2 objectives in my drop zone and the central objective, I gained 2 victory points. I hope to have the initiative in the next turn so that I can start eliminating Space Marines before they reach my operatives in combat.
As expected, the turn ended without any notable events. Andrea managed to reach the central objective thanks to the initiative. In the next round, I hope to get the first activation myself. Thanks to the 2 objectives that I control, I earn my first victory point. In the second round, my assault intercessors will finally be able to enter combat and eliminate some enemies. Let's see what happens.
Rolling for initiative. 6!
This is not a good way to start the second round.
This round I spend 1 command point for the strategic ploy Malicious Volley that allows my operatives to shoot twice with a bolt weapon if they don't perform a fight action.
I use a command point for the strategic ploy Assault Doctrine. Operatives who fight after charging can reroll an attack dice.
Eddie is the first operative to activate. He points his bolt gun at the marine that shot him earlier and fires 4 shots at 3+. Hitting 1 crit and 2 normal hits.
I need 3+ to save him. I use a command point to reroll a dice. That was to be expected. Nur suffers 6 wounds, remaining with 8. He's still in good shape.
Eddie shoots again to the same target for more shots at 3+. Just like before, 2 normal hits and 1 crit.
3 more dice to save at 3+. Okay, at least 2 dice are saved. The gunner takes a critical hit, but thanks to his chapter tactic ability, he takes 1 less wound, so 3, leaving him with 5.
With his last action, Eddie charges the marine beside him.
Mirko hears firing from above the bunker and decides to reach the enemy marine by charging him. Once in combat, he fights with him, making 5 attacks at 2+, thanks to the support of the other Space Marine. Having charged, I can reroll a dice. 4 hit.
Eddie responds with 3 attacks at 3+. 1 crit and 1 normal hit.
With the first dice, I defend 1 of yours.
With the crit, he deals damage.
With the last 3 dice, Mirko deals damage to the enemy.
12 damage passed, so 12 dice to roll thanks to Disgustingly Resilient. 6 wounds ignored, that's huge!
Assault Intercessors have the ability that allows them to fight twice in 1 activation, so Mirko decides to attack his opponent again. Another 5 attacks at 2+. Oh good, all 5 hit!
Eddie responds again with 3 dice at 3+. Just 1.
With the first dice, Mirko defends. Then, with the critical, he attacks and inflicts damage.
Ouch! First 5 wounds to ignore at 5+. Nope, just 1 is not enough.
Having killed an enemy model, I can reveal my first attack cope, Champion of Mankind. If at the end of the game this model has eliminated more enemies than my other models, I earn a victory point.
Don't worry, Eddie, it's not your fault. You did good.
As a gift for your kill, I give you a couple of dice for the wounds. Here they are.
Willy saw his friend collapse to the ground and decides to avenge him. He takes aim and then shoots 4 shots at 3+ with his blade launcher to the wounded marine, hitting 3 normal hits and a critical. Nice!
With -1 penetration, I can only roll 2 dice at 3+. Only one was successful, with 4-5 damage that 17 wounds suffered. Well, I would say that your glory did not last long, Mirko. Sorry, you have been eliminated. Lucius finds himself alone on the roof of the bunker, so he has the chance to perform the action Claying Ground on the objective. Inspired by the action of his friend, he decides to charge the leader of the Death Guard hidden at the base of the bunker. Arriving close to the opponent, Lucius fights him with 5 attacks at 3+. I can reroll dice for the charge. Damn! Only 2 hit! I was hoping you could do better.
Velia responds with 5 attacks at 3+, hitting 1 crit and 3 normal hits.
Having no other choice, Lucius deals damage with the first dice.
Velia defends the last marine's attack and deals damage with the 3 remaining dice, dealing 16 wounds. Rolling for Disgustingly Resilient, 4 dice at 5+. Just 1. 3 wounds through.
Okay, this fight was bad. I expected him to die, but I was hoping he could inflict far more wounds on the enemy leader. What a fail. Mirko was much better than you.
And these are your wounds left. Enjoy! Olaf activates and aims to the marine behind the container, then shoots him 4 shots at 3+, hitting 1 crit and 2 normal hits.
3 dice at 3+. 1 critical hit and 1 normal hit saved, but unfortunately he suffers 3 wounds remaining with 2. Ouch!
Since the target is still alive, Olaf shoots him again 4 shots at 3+, hitting 3 again.
Oh boy, I have to save all 3 for him to survive. Nope, he's dead. Andrea managed to eliminate the model I had chosen for the TAC-OP Deadly Marksman. Unlucky. Locking, the Grenadier changes the order in engage, then moves forward to get in sight of the Marine of Nargol who killed the gunner. Once in sight, he throws a Krak grenade at him. 4 shots at 3+. Only 2, obviously.
-1 penetration, so saving with 2 dice at 3+. 2 normal saves are enough to block the crit, but the 4 damage of the normal hit pass. Disgustingly Resilient, 4 dice at 5+. 2 wounds ignored. Awesome! Here, 10 wounds left to you as well.
With the last action at his disposal, Locking dashes and approaches the bunker wall.
Velia climbs on top of the bunker with movement and dash, then aims her plasma pistol to the enemy leader and shoots 4 supercharged shots. For every one, the Barret suffers 3 mortal wounds, but has -2 penetration. Rolling 4 dice at 2+. All hit!
With just 1 dice there is little I can do. With 3 more dice left, inflicting 15 wounds in total, my leader is dead. Completely evaporated from the battlefield. What a bad hand you have.
Having eliminated the enemy leader in the second round, I revealed the TAC-OP Headhunter and gained 2 victory points.
Ronald sees his leader collapse to the ground and decides to avenge him. With the movement, he approaches the enemy marine within 6 inches of range of his pistol, then shoots him. 4 shots at 3. All 4 hit.
No penetration, so saving with 3 dice at 3+. 2 dice saved. Disgustingly Resilient, 6 dice to save at 5+. Just 2. 6 wounds left to my champion.
With the last action, Ronald dashes near the bunker to take cover.
Murphy activates, and with movement and dash, manages to reach a position where he can see the Space Marine that just moved. Then he takes his plasma and fires through the door 4 supercharged shots at 3+. Rerolling the one with a common point. Better! 2 crits and 1 normal hit.
Ronald tries to defend himself with 1 dice at 3+. Okay, he's safe. With 10 wounds suffered from the remaining hits, the Marine has only 4 wounds now. Having finished the operatives to activate, I can start with the Overwatch. The Grenadier shoots the enemy leader with the heavy bolt pistol. 4 shots at 4+. Only 2 hit.
Saving with 3 dice at 3+. Not even 1. That's sad. Disgustingly Resilient, 6 dice at 5+. Just 2. 2 wounds left to Velia. At least, thanks to Disgustingly Resilient, my operatives can't be injured. The last operative to activate is George, that reaches the objective on top of the bunker with movement and dash, and then does the action Claying Ground to retake possession of the objective. Well, this round was bloody. I managed to eliminate 4 Space Marines while I only lost 1 Plague Marine. At the end of this turning point, I reached 6 victory points. If I manage to take the initiative in the next turn, I should be able to eliminate completely the enemy team and close the game.
Okay, this second round was a bit of a disaster. The initiative back to Andrea put me in serious difficulty, having to react to his attacks instead of being able to control the pace of the round. I have failed a lot of dice rolls, this didn't help me much, and now I find myself with a handful of models. The next round, I absolutely must be able to start first and eliminate the enemy leader. This turn, I earn another victory point for the objectives I control.
Rolling for initiative. 6! Nice roll!
Okay, in this game apparently I can't start first.
Like the previous strategic phase, I used the strategic deploy malicious volley to shoot twice with my operatives.
Being sure my marines will be wounded, I spend one command point for "and they shall know no fear." Thanks to this ploy, my models will not be injured.
Velia activates and shoots with their plasma on the marine with no wounds. 4 shots at 2+. All hit!
With -1 penetration, I have only 2 dice available, and I have to save a 3+. 1 is saved. I use a command point to reroll a dice. Another 6, perfect! With 5 wounds per shot, my Grenadier is left with only 4 wounds.
Then, Velia uses movement and dash to hide from the marines.
Where are you going? You will not flee! Ronald, furious for the loss of his companions, charges the enemy leader head-on. With a movement of 9 inches thanks to the chapter tactic and deploy that allows him to ignore the injury, the marine crosses the bunker and arrives on the other side. Once in combat, he attacks the Plague Marine. 5 attacks at 3+. Damn, only 2 hit.
The champion responds with 5 attacks at 3+, hitting only 3.
With the first dice, Ronald deals damage.
I need to save at least 3. It will be hard. 4 dice at 5 thanks to discussing the resilient. Nope, not even 1. And my leader leaves the battlefield.
With his last action, Ronald shoots the marine next to the barrier. 4 shots at 3. 3 hit, great!
Saving with 3 dice at 3+. All saved! Olaf didn't like being shot, so he fires back 4 shots at 3+. All hit with a crit as well.
I have to defend all 3 at 3+ to save him. Nope. Ronald, exhausted from eliminating the enemy leader, collapses to the ground. Pity.
With his last action, Olaf moves to have the last marine in sight, and then shoots him 4 shots at 3+. Hitting all again! Well done!
The last remaining marine cannot live like this. I have to save him on 3+. No, never mind. I would say the game is over and the victory is for the death card.
Wow, I never imagined to win in such a way against the Space Marines. My death guard performed admirably and Nargol is very pleased of how the game ended. I don't think Simon lost this game for the strategy, I guess it was just bad luck with the dice roll. Winning the initiative every round helped me a lot, that and disgustingly resilient. Without that ability, my operatives would have been eliminated a lot sooner.
It wasn't easy to see the Space Marines disappear one by one as if they were Imperial guards. Sure, the Death Guard is a great opponent who can stand up to them, but the ease with which they took them out was amazing. The initiative always won by Andrea has certainly complicated things, and a couple of my tactical mistakes did the rest. I must say, however, that the dice have not helped me much. In any case, I would like to try this list again, because I don't think I managed to play it properly. Maybe next time. And with this, we conclude. If you like our content and want to help us grow the channel, we have an account on the platform Buy Me a Coffee where you can support us with donations. Any help you can give us to improve the channel is welcome. We are counting on you. The link is in description.
And if you have come this far, write the word pain in the comments to let us know. You are the best. And if you are not yet subscribed, subscribe to the channel. If you liked the video, leave a like and write us in the comments. We are always curious to know what you think.
That's it, guys.
See you next video.